fucking bullshit out there, but you know, one thing that the flat Earth relates to that is it's you know, it's a clear evidence of how far the power should not be or going to try and discredit all of the true, actual conspiracies. Like, I'm telling you, it does seem fucking crazy that, you know, the United States government would actually attack their own country and all that, but it happened.
You need these stuff for everyone, or is it just me?
Oh,
Everyone.
Someone just died. Oh, there
Yeah.
Max just got, or somebody just got kicked. Who got kicked?
No, Christian left the group.
Oh, okay. Well, that happens.
Fucking,
All right, continue.
what's
We
his
go.
name? Hitler, he attacked his own building, the Reichstag building, and so, like, you know, when you call me a 9/11 theorist, I'd rather people didn't like have this label projected on me and call me a conspiracy theorist, because I just, you know, fucking, I don't know, 15 years ago, all I did was get the internet, came across shit about the New World Order. I had a lot of time on my hands, and you know, I was unemployed and shit, and I just looked into it, and I found out what was bullshit and what is true, and as I tried to, like, share things like fucking far out stuff with, like, my mom or whatever, you know, and she's very religious. She doesn't want to believe in a lot of these things that seem negative. So it's like some people just won't want to look into some of these things because they just automatically seem fucking far out, like the flat earthers say that. Yeah, I know it sounds fucking crazy, but once they look into it, it seems real. But you know, that's fucking bullshit, because if they really would look into it, they'd see it's this fucking psyop, you know.
All right,
But,
we get the point. But let me give it to someone else. So I'm going to go down the line here as it's ordered on my screen. Gus, you have the floor.
I just wanted to like cover like one more minute though on why I think.
Oh, please, by all means, go ahead. I'll go after you, by all means.
All right.
Okay.
Why I think 9/11 was orchestrated is there's just many different points of evidence, but the main things, right, which are as strong as saying that the flat Earth is bullshit, you know, it's this strong point of evidence to say that you could never have a flat Earth because it would be daylight all the time. The same strength of that evidence is with 9/11, for instance, with fucking let's say, I don't know, Building 7 wasn't even hit by a plane. It fell in free fall speed just like the other planes, and we got to understand that it's not really an attack on, you know, the United States government didn't just attack its own country. All governments are controlled by, you know, people who go to like Bilderberg group meetings. It's all, these things have been planned for ages, and you know, you just don't have a fucking building falling down so fast like that with just, even if jet fuel could burn and you know, melt steel beams. And just one other thing, they fucking found molten steel at the bottom of the rubble, and it's like, oh, fucking Building 7 was reported to have fallen even before it fell on BBC. I don't know, I could go on for hours, but like, it's just fucking 9/11.
Well,
it's another thing that gets people fighting.
Hang on. One at a time. Gus, you have the floor.
Can I go before Gus?
You can go after Gus.
I'm just pushing his buttons. I know how to annoys him.
This breaks down to two things. What do we know, and who do we trust?
Hang on. Critical. Mute yourself.
Sorry, man.
All right. Same rules last time. Anyone interrupts Gus, I'll boot your ass. Go, Gus.
It breaks down to two things. What do we know, and who do we trust? Okay. The problem with the problem with just about everything Critical has said about 9/11, and fluoride for that matter, what is that noise? What has been friggin' taken apart and soundly, using scientific and engineering principles, been taken apart and explained, not just debunked, but explained, centavo by centavo, particle by particle, by people who have more letters in the back of their name than 40 Russian alphabets. Now, there are people who will turn around and say that that's argumentum ad populum. There are instances where I don't believe argumentum ad populum applies, period. And one of them is that either the fucking qualifications that we send people to school to pick up mean something, or they don't. One of the things that annoys me about people who believe in this sort of thing is that when they get angina, they'll believe they're a cardiologist. When they turn their television on, they'll believe the reasons that somebody tells them it works, etc., etc. But they won't believe a whole shit ton of engineers, thousands of engineers who've pronounced on what happened to the buildings in 9/11, and they won't believe thousands of dentists who tell you that moderate amounts of fluoride will help to keep your teeth healthy. Even while looking at teeth that's kept healthy, some people never brush in their fucking lives anymore, and they still have relatively healthy teeth thanks to the fucking fluoride in the water. So at the end of the day, this boils down to who you trust, right? You either trust the people who went to school, got the qualifications, put cell phones in our hands and people on the fucking moon, or you don't trust them because reasons. Now I'm done. Next person.
All right, let me go next while it's still fresh in my head, and then I'll let someone else go next. Haven't decided who, but I'll get to that in a moment. The idea with Building 7 is that there was actually a report done called the NITS report that does go into why Building 7 collapsed. Building 7 collapse is not the mystery that 9/11 conspirators wish it so was. The deal was that Building 7 received a lot of impact from the collapsing towers 1 and 2, which damaged part of the bottom structure of Building 7, which caused a breakout of fires. Now, another thing that the collapse of World Trade Centers 1 and 2 did was they severed the water supply that went to the World Trade Center 7. Now, that water supply was primarily responsible for dousing flames if they were to occur on the lower levels, meaning that these fires were free to spread and do their damage, and only the top floors were relatively protected by a sprinkler system. Now, what ended up happening was the heating caused thermal expansion of the beams, which put pressure on column 79. Column 79 was a primary support structure that primarily supported the gritter, which also supported the beams for one side of the building. Now, because thermal expansion put a lot of force on this column 79, the gritters all of a sudden became dislodged, and next thing you know, you had a cascade of floor failures because of the way the building was designed. And it wasn't necessarily a design flaw in the sense that it wasn't designed to do that in the case of a fire, because I had a fucking sprinkler system, and they didn't think the fire would be beating the shit out of it for 7 hours straight. It was a good design. It's just that when you beat the shit out of something for 7 hours straight, thermal expansion will happen. It will cause the beams to deform. In fact, there have been experiments done which actually show this to occur in other structures. People have told me, "Oh, it's the first steel structure to ever collapse due to fire." Really? Are you sure about that? You fucking kidding me? There was a bridge over in Cincinnati that had a dump truck fire, and it was steel. It collapsed due to thermal expansion. And the same thing happens with the beams, but because you have the collapse happening on the lower portion of the floors, you have the weight of the entire building on top of it, which made the collapse of the penthouse all in one section, and it led to a cascade of floor failures from the inside out. Then what you have left is just a hollow shell of the building with nothing supporting it. So for 2 seconds, it did fall at free fall speed because there was nothing there. It was a hollow shell at that point. The collapse had already happened. And because you had the outside shell of the building funneling all this material downward, that could account for the relatively neat pile at the bottom after the shit collapsed. There is no conspiracy. This was all clearly demonstrated, but these fucktards don't actually want to read the damn report that actually goes into detail about what happened with World Trade Center 7. I don't know what happened, therefore conspiracy.
Let me jump in for a brief moment here. In terms of the varied reports that were done analyzing it, go ahead, throw out all the government ones. I'm good with that. You know, the government does have a vested interest. There is a conflict of interest and some problems there. The one that I'd listen to is the one that was done by Popular Mechanics. They didn't have a reason to bullshit about it. That's
can I also add
one
something?
thing to keep in mind. Hang on. And as for the timing pertaining to the Building 7 thing, that argument has actually amused me for a while because there's a couple things to keep in mind. One of which, of course, is that they're in a very different time zone than New York. But even more important than that, the whole thing of, well, you can see Building 7 behind them when they're reporting it. Well, yeah. What they do is they actually have basically what's a green screen behind there and have a slide that's put in behind them. They weren't updating the slide behind them. That wasn't live footage behind them. Anyway, go ahead, Epi.
All right, go.
I was just
moving on.
Critical. We had this discussion before when we pointed out and even gave you a video where there were debris falling at a faster rate than the building, you said you were invoking anti-gravitational stuff. So I'm really not sure what can be said to convince you if you can just ad hocly also just add in, well, New World Order or other such things and save the theory if we even in fact show you this kind of stuff. So I'm done with that.
All right. Since we kind of were burying him, I want to give Critical a chance to respond. Same rule. Interrupt him. Boot your ass. Go ahead.
Okay, yeah. Good night, guys. I got him. Whatever. See, have a good day. I'll be around. See ya.
Take care, Hog.
Hey, good to see you, Hog Tie. Catch you later.
Later, mate. All right. Well, I can't really stay on for very long. I just saw message.
If that's why you left. Oh, sorry. Go.
I can't really stay on for very long. I actually didn't even have anything to eat yet, and I got loads to do. I just saw a little little notification of an invite, so I chose to pop in and shoot the shit for a bit. But okay, I'll start with the points you made about fluoride. Now, I've seen that fluoride, the good fluoride, the natural element, is naturally present in a lot of food and drink. I've seen an example stating that if you have a bowl of cereal and, I don't know, say a glass of a fucking can of Coke, I don't drink Coke, it's just a fucking example, then you've already surpassed your recommended dose of fluoride. And so that's, assuming that fluoride is recommended as, a beneficial thing, and that's, so assume there was no fluoride in the water whatsoever. It's already present in food and drink. So why fucking, have us be self-medicated, force medicated? It's like, why would the government go out of their way also for our fucking teeth? It is kind of ridiculous if you think about it. And now, that's just fluoride. I'm going to get on to 9/11 because it's all you guys got to do is just like really look up how fluoride really does reduce people's brain IQ. You can see an increment in the reduction of people's intelligence by just the use of constant fucking abbreviations, like IDK for I don't know, like people can't even fucking write out entire words and sentences now. People thinking of, actually, I'm sure there's a lot of people who are actually following for this flat earth shit, who aren't just, paid agents or whatever to discredit the truth movement and make us all look fucking retarded. I mean, as we can see, there's already healthy skepticism and some denial. I'm not saying you guys are in denial and you're, ignorant. I don't judge you guys, like myself. I thought a lot of shit was bullshit as well. I actually believed in fucking global warming until I found out that that is a fucking conspiracy. It's fucking bullshit,
Don't interrupt him. You know the rules.
Let's not digress, because things can be like, I mean, you really got to look up climate gate and all that. You probably have heard of all this shit already, but I'm digressing myself all over the place. Now, 9/11, okay. You just don't. They've done a computer simulation where they simulated what would have actually happened if two planes crashed into the building that was fucking designed to withstand 4 jets the size, by the way. But anyway, they simulated what would have actually happened, and the thing wouldn't have collapsed. I mean, now, fucking 6 out of 10 of the 9/11 commissioners agree that there's something fishy, and what's his name? The old. He's kind of like a cocky asshole. One time, the Fox News reporter, Rivero Rivaldo, or whatever the fuck his name is.
Geraldo Rivera.
Yeah.
Are we talking about Geraldo Rivera?
Yeah, one time.
We're talking about the guy that went and thought he found Al Capone's vault and had this huge TV special and had people wait there for like hours and hours until they finally busted down the wall and there was actually a chamber back there that had one dusty old wine bottle there and nothing else. That guy, right?
Well, him and many other people. I only brought him up because he actually gave the finger on live camera on CNN when Alex Jones and all them went and did this protest in front of You know, he actually came out saying that there's something up with Building 7, and I mean, I heard your explanation about it, you know, collapsing like that, but I mean, come on, I mean, you know, seriously, like, it fucking fell down at free fall speed.
Actually,
And, I
the
mean,
penthouse fell well before the remainder of the building. We have that well documented.
What I explained explains exactly why you think it fell at free fall speed. The building collapsed well before the outside started. You're only seeing the outside shell. It collapsed from the inside out.
all right, well, regardless of all these little things, we can all agree that in history, it's just, you know, a well-known thing to do. Just a great trick, inside job, false flag, you know, cause an attack, and blame it on the enemy. What have we seen? Who has benefited from 9/11? I'm sure you've heard these arguments before, but you got to just look at the outcome. People's, you know, the Patriot Act, people's fucking freedoms. You know, I was just fucking walking down the street, okay, filming, and you guys mentioned you don't believe that there's chemtrails, but I mean, that's another can of worms, which has been, geoengineering has been admitted. I've got footage of fucking planes starting out of nowhere and then suddenly finishing, and it's not atmospheric conditions, man. I mean, fucking, and on the same day, the same altitude, pretty much, you'll see a normal jet going by, dissipating real quick. Why I mentioned that? A few years ago here in England, I was just fucking filming some aerial spraying. I don't want to use the word chemtrails because it's like, you know, buzzword, but and this fucking, I swear to God, this cop comes up to me with this camera around his neck, and he's like, "You're on CCTV. Stop filming now. What are you filming? Because of 9/11, there's a high terrorist risk attack. You know, fucking all this mass fear and hysteria. You know, like, you know,
wait, please, just
I'm
just
like,
one
no,
moment.
sir, you're not gonna fucking film me if you don't want me to film. And it's like, you know, sorry, go ahead.
Here's the thing, though, with that, this is the job of the police. When somebody's sitting there filming what looks like the outside of the building from their perspective, they're going to wonder if you're planning on robbing the place or whatever. I mean, this is something that, why would that set up a flag in your head?
No, what I'm saying is, I was clearly filming this guy, and I told him what I was filming, and you know, I told him to look up.
He doesn't know who you are. He doesn't know who you are. He doesn't know what you want.
Man.
Yes, you like security. If
doing his
someone
job.
was doing that around your premises, would you do something about it?
Well, I'd
the
ask
moment-
questions. I would at the very least ask questions. I mean, that's
Yeah.
pretty standard. I mean, you'd be a piss poor security, if only because the client might be interested in knowing what the guy's doing, because it's the client's property. And wouldn't you be a fucking idiot if the client walks up to you and says, "Who is that guy and what's he doing?" You're like, "I don't know."
The moment he asked me what I was doing, I told him I was filming this guy. The camera's pointed clearly up, and he continued to try and, you know, fucking harass me and ask me for my ID. And stuff,
Okay,
you know,
all right. Here's the thing.
My point is, though, mass hysteria and fucking, you know, loss of our freedoms and rights is in the name.
There is.
Can I say something about?
Hang
You
on,
said,
hang on. Sorry.
Hang on, Gus. Hang on.
Post talks.
It's not me. I didn't
All
say
right.
it.
There's also some static coming from you, Critical. So I'm just gonna mute you just for this. Okay. So
might be me with static, but I'm not sure about that.
well then mute yourself too, asshole.
Can I say something about the?
No, me first. Okay. So anyway. With the chemtrail things, with this when you see and they're not chemtrails, they're contrails. These trails starting, stopping, and starting again. The thing is that there are certain sections of atmosphere where you have a differential there. This has been well documented. In fact, you shake your head, but I can show you a picture where actually demonstrates this. You can have a blanket of clouds, and you can have. You know, it's almost one of those perfectly uniform cloudy days. I have a picture of one on my desktop, but anyway, I'll show you what I mean. And the clouds go right overhead, and right in the middle you have an arbitrary hole, and a whole bunch of clouds streaming down. That's known as an air punch. And meteorologists look for this because it demonstrates what type of differential is actually in the atmosphere. And in order for people to tell me that this is not due to atmospheric conditions, what they would have to do is get measurements from the atmospheric conditions or of the atmospheric conditions from that altitude. Otherwise, what they're doing is they're simply pointing a camera at the sky and talking shit because they don't know something.
Yeah, you can a clear demonstration of differences in things like pressure and temperature and this and that can be seen just in cloud formations themselves. Because now, granted, there are times that the sky will be completely covered, but a lot of time you'll have some little clouds here, some little clouds there, and then you have the clouds that appear at certain different levels of elevation as well. I mean, you can see this evident just in that.
Yep, there's a lot of things going on, but it's a very dynamic thing, and I would like to know which professor of atmospheric dynamics that you talked to that said that differentials like what we're seeing are impossible, and I guarantee none of them will agree.
I just want to ask you, was it a police officer or a security guard that was questioning your filming? Because my profession is I'm a security guard, and I can tell you that there are places in Australia where you are not permitted to film because it's banned.
Right. It was just a police officer, but onto where the where you mentioned the atmospheric differentials. I've seen a graphic illustration of how you could have different levels of
turbulence.
Moisture levels, or what causes condensation to form.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I've seen this effect occur, and what happens is the trail just slightly kind of gets weak and then gets slightly thick again. I mean, that's it was either a spraying plane or that was running out of whatever the barium or their tanks or whatever. Mm-hmm. But just try and consider that you could look up right now or after this discussion admissions that yes, this is going on. Geoengineering recently. It's I can't remember exactly the article, but I'll
Let
find
me guess.
it.
The BBC.
No, mate. I mean, this is like.
I think I know which report you're talking about.
I'd like to point out one thing about the
No, that was ages
in the
ago.
sky, and that our eyes actually deceive us, and at that small detail, at that distance, our eyes will either not see the plane, even though it may be visible, because of that blurring of detail. Our eyes aren't perfect.
It's I would recommend getting the camera that like I have, which is fucking awesome, by the way.
Well, the thing is,
I mean.
in regards to the evidence of what I call segmenting, where they don't really give a shit, right? They put out the idea that the world is flat. They can fucking do anything now, and people will be like, oh, whatever. I'm not even gonna fucking look into any conspiracy-related shit. I'm fucking tired of you fucking conspiracy tards, as some people like to refer to people who are researching conspiracies, which do happen, of course. There are people who are gullible and will believe everything, but I'm not one of them.
No. The reason here there's a.
I'm not saying that you guys think that.
No. There's a severe difference that I need to just make clear. The conspiratards are people that claim that their conspiracy is fact. Now, if you're researching a conspiracy, fine, then you're a conspiracy researcher, and I would have a lot more respect for you. But don't tell me that this bullshit is fact unless you have something to back it up. And that's why I call Juranism a conspiratard, because he is bullshitting, and he still claims it to be fact.
The thing is, there's something.
Also, good.
There's a big difference between actual evidence and a bunch of people just running around asking questions and going, how do you answer that? And that's what you normally see from the conspiracy theorists.
Yeah, they're always questions, very few answers.
Whoever
They
doesn't
also
have
like
that
to
phone,
use
can you put
we.
it on, please?
Well, I just want to say something that Red's mentioned that's very, it's a very good point. You see, this flat Earth thing was given the label theory, conspiracy theory. So why, like you very well said, why are they running around claiming it to be a fact? You know, you're fucking saying it's a theory. Why? It's just fucking, you know. And again, they've attached the word theory to it so that they can have this, it's a turd, be thrown in the punch bowl of a lot of, you know, conspiracy so-called theories are now coming out as being actually fact. And just one more thing on the chemtrail thing. Oh, well, you can't sit there and say that it's all bullshit. But just one more thing.
Yeah, we can.
Well, you can say all.
I sit here and say it's all bullshit all day, mate.
Hang on, Sean wants to come in. Any one of you want to drop for him?
Who's Sean?
Thank you.
Oh wait, no, I can't drop. Never mind.
Hang on. Critical. I don't want to like kick you out or anything like that. I would rather you leave on your own. So how about this? I'll let you say what you have to say without any interruption and no reply. You'll get the last word, and then if you can hop out, that would be great.
I'll just mute my microphone because I want to listen for a bit.
No. I need to make room.
Oh,
He
okay.
needs space in the room.
Yes.
Oh, I get it, man. All right,
So say what you gotta say, and then I'll get someone else out there.
all right, cool, man. I'll make it real quick because, you know,
Okay.
for every reason. All right. I'll send you a link afterwards, but I've got some great footage of seeing planes leaving actually no trail whatsoever for a great distance of the sky, and then suddenly turning on. And
Yes, but he
sometimes-
explained that.
Hang on, Gus.
No, but see, that's why I mentioned a great distance of the sky, and then I've also got footage of in the same area where there was no trail being produced. You'll see jets that we used to see around before 1997 when they didn't go from fucking horizon to horizon. They were just slightly dissipating at least, I don't know, 10 to 30 lengths of the plane, and you know, you just didn't see these massive fucking trails. Also, some of them, you know, expand and expand, and also if it was just differentials in atmospheric conditions, these differential areas kind of move, but you don't. When you see like a sudden break in the trail, or it suddenly start or suddenly stop, or both, what you don't see is that break changing. That break that occurs is consistent and stays consistent until the trail dissipates or expands, and you know, that's it. That's all I gotta say. Welcome, you guys. You know, have an open mind to it. Check out the recent
You don't know
admissions.
physics, do you?
Geoengineering is going on. And,
Hang on.
Nonsense.
All right, hang on. All right, critical. Thank you. I'm gonna let you go. No interruption, but have a good one. See ya.
Just for fun, I know he's gone, but I have to point out, back in the 20s, we couldn't fly as high. What the fuck? Sorry.
And
John.
Sean and Sean wasn't really trying to come in here. I was just wanting him to leave. Fuck that guy.
Okay.
Oh, thank fuck. Well done. See, that just proves that Red's a liar.
Oh, can I... let me just switch my cameras for 1 second. I just want to point out something that's been going on since he started talking. There we go. This is my other camera.
So you recorded all that?
Oh, yeah.
Damn
Hell
straight.
yeah.
Oh, snap.
Come on, that's great for us. Great material for a video.
Well, considering that I was being hassled by conspiracy retards yesterday, yeah, I wanted to have something to throw on a loop so that I could invite some into a hangout and not have to worry about them porn bombing me. So I'd have
The interesting thing about
it.
The interesting thing about him is he's going on and hating on conspiracy retards without wanting to admit that he's one.
Yeah,
he doesn't want to admit. I mean, the language that I was using, we can all agree. No, we can't. You can't create a group just because you desire it.
Yeah.
Sorry, dude.
Yeah, so I just want, see, he's kind of a guy that I just don't want on my case because I really don't want to fucking deal with him. So I figured let him go out and think that I was giving him, you know, a good leave, but in reality I was just trying to boot his ass nicely.
Well, the summation seems to be I don't know how shit works, therefore conspiracy.
Exactly.
Yeah, pretty much.
The man.
Yeah, no.
I love how his big hate on for being forced to, somebody. It was all about the individual having more rights than
But
everybody else.
let's look at what just happened. You know, it was a conspiracy against him to get him out of the room, because I knew bloody well that Red doesn't know me from a bar of soap and would have picked me because I was the last one to enter. So we know it's a fucking conspiracy to get rid of the useless cunt. I mean, like...
Oh, there is.
Lies,
The truth is
bloody lies.
Oh, you guys want to help me out on something that's if this guy actually comes in. There's a guy by the name of Antonio A. He has the you know that stand that they put canvases on for painting?
An easel.
Yeah, whatever the fuck it's called.
It's called an easel, Red.
Yeah,
What
that thing
I
lifts
what
off
I
the
love
pad
about
at
you,
Kennedy's,
Red, I've
whatever
got
the
to
fuck
say,
it's called.
I've been watching you for months, and I've got to love that you are so technical and then fail at all the real simple shit.
I don't paint. I mean, I suck at
Yeah,
art.
I know you don't paint, but you're trying to fucking tell a flat earther the world is round, and you fucking go into all these fucking tan and cosine, and it's like the guy can't fucking add 2 and 2 together. Why are you bothering with fucking geometry? Fucking,
Hang on a second. Hang on a
it's
second.
just simple.
Okay,
I-
anyway,
hang on,
let me just say this. Okay, so Antonio A, if he comes in here, he has a easel, if that's what the fuck it's called, and so it's a black and white background. The white's the easel, whatever. And Antonio, I've been playing this game with him. He's been trying to have a debate with me about the 9/11 conspiracy bullshit, and I've been replying to every single comment as if he's a dog. Like, for example, good. So for example, good boy, play dead. He says something stupid. Good boy, now go get me a beer. And then he says something stupid. Good boy, now roll over. Now good boy, now sit. Good boy, now paw. And that is the only response he has ever gotten out of me. So I've been fucking with him. So if you guys can help me out with it, so if he ever comes in here, just talk to him as if he's a fucking puppy.
I'm gonna ask him if he wants a treat.
Hang on a second.
No, you need Carson in for that.
Hang on a second, because I want to actually, weirdly enough, attach on to something that Outboard, I believe, was just saying. Now, I was actually talking to my wife yesterday, and I said, I mean, Red's been making all these videos with all this serious math, trying to explain how things work, and and this is how refraction works, and the angle of ascension, and all this kind of crap. And I sit there and I make the comment of, well, a flight from Australia from LAX versus one from Peru, yet somehow it seems like that's the one that got somebody looking into shit because the math was simple.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, like the flights. The flights are a classic. I'm an Australian, in case you haven't noticed from the accent.
What?
Gee, to the surprise of literally nobody.
I'm half pissed, in case you haven't noticed from the slurring.
Could have fooled us, mate.
I just
It's
thought you were
always-
drunk. Never mind.
Always easy.
I am drunk. I'm an Australian. I said that already.
Oh,
I'm
okay,
drunk.
okay.
I'm an Australian.
It was
Come on.
a-
It's always easy to tell Australians because you know, the end of a sentence, you can't tell whether it was a statement or a question. You want to go to the bar?
Hey, no. If it's a question, we say, eh?
The A thing is also Canadian, so.
Yeah, no.
Not all of us. Not all of us.
But it's Australian when you say it with an Australian accent. Can't you hear the difference, eh? I mean, like Australians can't tell the difference between an American and a Canadian accent, and that's the advantage for Americans. If you're ever if you ever come to Australia as an American, drop into the conversation that you're a Canadian, because American tourists tend to be, and it's not all Americans. It's American tourist class people tend to be arseholes. So if you come to Australia, drop into the conversation that you're a Canadian.
Well, I know one way to prove that you're Australian. I know one way of proving you're Australian.
Yeah.
Call you're a Kiwi.
No, Kiwis get all their vowels fucking wrong.
Yep, he's Australian.
You can always tell a Kiwi because they get upset when you say, you're Australian, are you?
I'm actually not sure why so many American tourists are pissed off assholes now, but it used to be because they were going there to meet Olivia Newton-John, and they'd get there and find out how big the country was and get pissed.
And they couldn't get physical with her.
You got it.
But it's not even American tourists to Australia. I mean, like I've met, it's just the American the class of Americans that go, hey, I want to go overseas, tend to be, and I've met them in Thailand, where the 3 Americans about in their early 20s walking down the main walking street in Phuket, and the ambulance followed them an hour later because they picked a fight. It's like, why?
Well, didn't you know that all Americans in their 20s are omniscient? In their own heads.
Yeah.
Well,
I've got a serious question. I have a serious question because as much as I am, I don't buy into any of the conspiracy theories. The one question that I have never been able to find the evidence to debunk it was, and I assume that it's just someone's CGI, is the YouTube videos of the planes going into the towers where the wings disappear behind a building which is several miles behind. Is that just CGI?
Easy to fix, easy one. Video cameras are not fully a full record of exactly what happened. They guess. And as the plane is turning, the camera can't tell whether it's a wing or sky. There isn't enough contrast. So in one frame, it disappears because it can't tell the difference, so it deletes it. And then the next frame, it says, oh, there's enough contrast now, I'll put it back in.
It's more to do with the reliability of the older cameras.
Well, it's not even that. It's also because it's at long range. You're talking about something that's a mile away, it's more apparent because it's harder to tell the difference because it's not as many pixels in height. But
it's the resolution.
In addition to that, a video camera is designed for 30 frames per second. So across 30 frames, it doesn't make a difference. If you watched a football match, you'd see someone's feet go into the ball or their fingers go into the ball because their fingers are the same color as the ball at some point. Maybe the black of their boot and the black square of the ball or whatever, would merge. But
you get the same effect also with golf plates.
But you only get to see it if you're anal enough to check every fucking frame. Across 30 frames per second, you can't tell. This is why.
Actually, Cliff, back in 2000, you wouldn't have had 30 frames per second.
Well, they average
24.
Yeah, you would have been closer to 24, which has a lot more loss.
Yeah, but either way, even so, it's still a similar kind of situation.
All the other things. I was in the volunteer fire brigade here down the road here for 15 years, and I know that a house fire, a standard building fire, within an hour. We had a building which was only 2 stories, but it was steel supported. Second story, and our instructions on that building, if there was ever, because it was the council offices, if ever there was a fire there, we were not to enter that building if it had been burning for longer than 30 minutes because the risk of the steel being structurally unsound at that point was too dangerous. It didn't matter if we knew there were people in there or not. We were instructed we were not to enter.
Yeah, and 7 was burning for 8 hours, or was it 6?
Well, the kicker is though that when they talk about their thing, it's like, oh yeah, well it takes this much for steel to melt. It's like, well, we're not talking melting, we're talking warping.
But here's the other thing about steel melting is how have we since the start of the Industrial Revolution melted steel? Oh, with charcoal and air.
Yeah.
Fuck me. You punch a hole in the building that tall, what are you going to get a lot of in the building? Yeah, air, because there's fucking winds up there. And guess what?
And jet fuel is a lot more efficient than coal.
Coal, yeah.
Well, the thing is...
how does SpaceX get their rocket into fucking space? Oh, hang on a sec. Kerosene and air. Oxygen.
The kicker is when this whole 9/11 conspiracy shit started. I went to look into it, and my first impression was we don't have enough information to make any kind of fucking decision on this, so we all need to shut the fuck up until there's more information.
Now, that's where I got caught out. That's how I got wrapped up in all this fucking conspiracy shit and debunking it, is because I went and did exactly the same thing as you, except I made the mistake of going, well, hang on a sec, there might be something in this. And then I went, well, hang on a second, well, I need more information. And it took me a long time to get to that, oh, we need more information. But I mean, like, things like what I was saying before about like Red being way too technical. I mean, like, the simplest thing about the flat Earth, for instance, is the only way that we can tell the shape of anything is by plotting its surface, which we do normally. We do visually. We look at something, we plot its surface and go, hey, that's a square, because from kids we've looked at something, plotted its surface, gone, yeah, that's square shaped. In the way to totally debunk flat Earth, which anyone that has a grade school education can do, is that we know where everything is on Earth. We know the distance from everywhere to everywhere else, and when we plot out that, what we end up with is a sphere. And there is just no way to fucking argue that, because the only argument that, oh, have you ever actually done that? Well, the answer is yes. Yes, I have, and you have too. Because if you've ever taken a trip anywhere out of your fucking mother's basement, you have known how far it was and how long it would fucking take you to walk there or drive there or bicycle there. And so you've done part of the plotting of the planet's surface. You already know it takes you that long. Like, from here, it takes me an hour to get to Melbourne. I know that distance. I know that for a fact. And when I look at fucking Google Earth, hey, what I know matches up exactly with fucking Google Earth. And what everyone I know knows matches up with Google Earth. So we've got the whole fucking plot right there on Google Earth. Go and have a look at it.
I was a little bit like you. When the 9/11 stuff and the conspiracy stuff first started, I did kind of fall for one of them, but it was for a completely different reason. I thought that United 93, that was the one that crashed in the ground. I thought that may have been shot down by an F-16.
I still wonder about that.
Well,
that I still wonder about.
Well, what happened was that when a plane gets shot down, it scatters over a wider area. You know, if it just crashes into the ground, it's the debris is scattered over a small distance. But the higher it is, when Lockerbie Flight 103 crashed, was blown up over Scotland, the debris was scattered over a 20-30 mile distance. I don't even know how big it was offhand.
But we assumed that, but it was over Scotland, so the Scots might have nicked parts and moved it.
Yeah. So what happened was, one of the first...
Pick it on the Scots, love it.
One of the first reports was that they'd found debris 6 or something miles away, over 6 miles away. And I thought, yeah, that plane's been shot down. But what's happened is the government, having watched 3 planes hit buildings, and have had to make the difficult decision and shot the plane down. But when the reports came through that, the passengers tried to retake the plane, they blamed it on them instead. So, you can, and it's easier to blame the dead, the brave dead, than to accept responsibility.
Look, as I said, I'm a security guard. A dead man tells no lies.
But it's kind of one of those things, though. If the government ended up shooting down a plane that was not responding to hails on a day in which planes were flying into buildings, I wouldn't fucking blame them.
No, I know, but
exactly.
Well, here's the thing, though. Conspiracy theorists don't even take the reasonable conspiracy theories. Like, Cliff, the one you mentioned, that's very reasonable to believe. The one I was led to believe was the Bush administration knew about this ahead of time and just did nothing about it.
And that's actually more realistic. Allowing something to happen actually doesn't require any competence. Orchestrating something like this, much more competence than the U.S. government has.
I just want to finish off the rest of my idea for the conspiracy.
Oh, sorry, go ahead, Cliff.
Yep.
So what happened was, if you look at the Shanksville crash, there's a lake about 1.5 miles to the east. And what had happened was some light debris had been blown up in the explosion, like some foam and bits of paper and things like that. and it'd been, and it'd been pushed up in the air, and it had landed in the water and gone on the other side of the lake. It was a very thin lake, and the journalist, the reporter who went to find these bits of paper and stuff, she used MapQuest to estimate the distance, but she'd had to drive all the way around the lake to do it, which was 6 miles. So the actual distance away from it was less, was a mile or whatever it was. But, it was exaggerated because she just used the mileometer effectively on the car, how far she'd driven. But it wasn't as the crow flies. So, yeah, so like I say, when I investigated it, I realized that it was just rubbish. It was a nonsense argument, and all the main debris parts were found within 300 meters or something, I think it was. The other thing that
how much debris was actually found though from that one? Because from what I've heard, and I haven't looked into it a lot, is that there wasn't a lot of debris. There was basically a hole in the ground and some bits.
Yeah, well, what happened was that it came down a very, going straight down, and it's soft ground there. It's PT kind of ground, and it went straight in. It basically just compacted vertically in the hole. So the hole underneath what looks like a bit of a crater is most of a plane.
Right. Yeah.
It's bits of wings and little bits of fuselage and the engines and things like that were scattered nearby that you could see. A lot of it was just dug out of the ground. It was almost like a grave. Digging out a grave and finding all the bits inside.
Right. Yep.
But what was the 113 was saying a moment ago? There was another part and I've forgotten.
I don't really remember. Sorry.
That's right. Letting it happen. That's right. It was Max saying about the government.
Yeah, it's a matter of what. And this is the thing is when I'm dealing with the hardcore conspiracy theorists.
Really thing.
I will always say, what you have to ask yourself is what would make more sense. That our government is somehow competent enough to orchestrate on this level without anyone coming forward either before, during, or after to try to get the fame and fortune of telling their story, or that the government let it happen. I mean, which one makes more sense? And that's kind of the disconnect.
Well, particularly when you look at previous conspiracies that have been proved. The Lewinsky affair. I mean, like, how many? There were 2 people involved, for fuck's sake, and one of them came forward.
Yeah.
Right.
And one withheld evidence.
And Watergate. Watergate was a total of, 13 people involved, and one of them came forward?
I mean, the simple fact is that now I've worked for the government. I've worked for the FDIC. I've worked for the IRS. And the one thing I learned working for the government is, as I like to say, not only does the right hand not know what the left is doing, but each expects the other to wipe. Our government is nowhere near competent enough to pull anything off, ever.
They couldn't even hide a blowjob.
This is one of the issues that comes along here because that there was a plot. There was a conspiracy by a bunch of Arabic people to do something. There wasn't we're going to take planes and crash them into buildings. Nobody actually knew that. But the people doing the flight training, they were sort of saying, we're a bit worried about these guys. They seem to be learning how to fly, but don't seem to be interested in landing, kind of thing. They're not quite right. There's something wrong about them. They're not the normal kind of people that would come over here and learn how to fly a plane.
And so they reported to people, and nothing was done about it.
Well, it goes to the sheriff's office. It goes to the FBI, maybe, but they kind of sat on it because they didn't know what to do with it. And
if the American government was efficient, they would be investigating every flat earther for being a pedophile. Because let's face it, you'd have to be a fucking child to believe the flat earth bullshit. Because, as I said before, a grade school maths education is all you need to debunk it. Well, any adult knows that it's fucking bullshit. So these guys who are saying it must be fucking lying. And the only people that can be convinced are children, and children don't have a disposable income, so therefore flat earthers are pedophiles. There's more evidence than has ever been presented for flat earth.
The thing that I've actually kind of observed, though, when dealing with conspiracy theorists, is that I think the majority of this is kind of an innate desire not only to feel like you know more than other people or that you have some grand secrets, which is certainly a part of it, but what seems to be a good part of it is to not feel powerless. To somehow feel empowered. You know, those buildings came down because our government dropped the ball because of massive amounts of incompetence here, there, and everywhere, and we didn't catch this in time. This managed to get through. And we don't want to think that's the case. We don't want to think that our government is that fucked up and that lax. We want to think that they're actually in control. So we make up these fucked up fictions.
And again, here we go. People want to feel powered, and all these conspiracy theorists want to feel power. Easy to feel power over children. Again, pedophiles.
That might be an invalid correlation, but okay.
No, hang on a second. You show me one conspiracy theory that has more evidence.
Red wanting to get the guy out of here.
Well,
yeah, fuck that guy.
To add to what Heathens was just saying as well, I think one of the reasons why people are really so suspicious about the Freemasons is because this is a secret club and I'm not a part of it. Other people know more about it, therefore they must be up to something.
Well, actually, hang on. I'm going to actually... Hang on, I have to introduce a new conspiracy theory into this. Because the thing is, the Freemasons thing is total bullshit. We all know this actually dates all the way back to the Stone Age. We've traced it there. And what happened was the Freemasons actually came out of the Royal Order of Buffaloes. This entire conspiracy was started by Fred and Barney.
Hang on a second. Now, now, it's just personal background. My uncle was the member of a lodge. It wasn't actually the Royal Buffaloes or whatever, but it was a lodge. And
Did the Flintstones reference not translate overseas?
Yes. Okay, look, exactly. Why do you think I immediately thought of my uncle? Right? But I asked him one day, they've got secret handshakes and they've got this bullshit and there's this secrecy and all this. And I said, what's it really about? And he says, oh, you get cheap beers. You go there, you get cheap beers.
Yeah, it's basically...
When you said you were reminded of your uncle, was it because your uncle says yabba dabba doo too?
Well, no.
Australian accent.
He is English.
Basically, it's the world's best pillow fort, and they have the pillow fort that says this fucking G with the fucking Freemason logo on it, and they're like, oh, it's the world's best pillow fort, no girls allowed.
There are certain to these secret associations, and what they are is basically what we nowadays, with computers and modern day terminology, call networking. People are networking. And they've always been doing it. It's just that it's a new thing to most people because going back years, it used to be these clubs and lodges and shit that used to do it.
It's who you know, who you know, or what you show.
Yeah. Exactly. And it's like, oh, hey, look, you're out of a job, no problems. You're a member of the lodge, we'll get you a job. You're a member of a college fraternity. We'll get you a job. It's like, it's all networking. It's all secret society
Which
bullshit.
is funny because a lot of the people that are into this whole conspiracy thing, they're members of churches which do the same shit. But that somehow doesn't count.
Yeah, well...
Yeah, but I don't understand why the Seventh-day Adventists never fucking take my advice and go 3 doors up the road and talk to the Buddhist.
I mean, these fucktards will disregard one thing but accept another for no reason whatsoever other than it makes them feel all warm and cuddly inside for whatever fucking reason. It's almost like it's honestly a matter of preference. Some people like McDonald's, some people like a salad. I personally think salad is shit, but Dranism might like to eat that shit.
By the way, Red, if you ever have another one of those hangouts where you start talking about 9/11 stuff, and you know in advance this is going to be happening, let me know, because I've got a head full of that stuff. Pretty much everything they've ever come out with, I've got a rebuttal for it.
What about column 79?
And let me know, because I'm just really good at abusing people.
You and me both, man.
Fuck you.
Which one is column 79?
The douchebag that was in here last time was bitching about World Trade Center 7, and I had to explain to him how you had the water main break that was basically preventing the sprinkler systems from suppressing the fire in the bottom, which caused thermal expansion, which caused column 79 to fail, which led to a cascade of floor failures, which caused the penthouse to collapse, which led to an overall collapse inside out, meaning that you only had the outside shell, which pretty much explains why you had free fall speed for 2 fucking seconds. God damn it, we figured this shit out!
Yes. Yes.
It's now confirmed that
videos are after the first penthouse has fallen in. So it's like it's about 6 to 8 seconds of collapse going on internally before the thing starts to fall. And
Why did it happen faster? I'm like, that's why, you asshole. You're not seeing the whole thing because you're stupid. Because you're stupid.
And I just want to bring up one other thing. Free fall is not a speed, it's a fucking acceleration.
Yes.
It's something. It's something.
They don't physics.
But that's why I want this Antonio douchebag to get in here so we can call him a dog.
Oh, but hold on. Did you send the invite to Antonio, and didn't we keep at least one spot open for him?
Because here's the thing, I'm going to actually record it, because even though this is a off-air hangout, it still says, you know, this is going to be live. So technically, I could record it behind the scenes and post it without his permission and not get shit for it. Well, I'll still get shit for it, but you know.
Shit, see, this is why you need me in your group, because in Australia it is legal to record any conversation as long as one participant in that conversation gives approval, which would mean that I could record it, except I don't know how to because I'm too pissed.
Oh, I see. Okay. Yeah, well, if there is a spot open, I'll definitely send the invite to Antonio, because I've been fucking with this guy for like months, and he's been constantly replying back to me with a whole bunch of angry, ranty comments. And at one time, one comment was, I think, like 46 lines long, and my reply was, "Good boy, fetch."
I wish I had a doggy treat that I could throw out my screen whenever he talks.
Yeah, so basically, it doesn't matter what he says. You say "good boy" as if he actually did the trick, and then you give him a different order. So what I did was he would do this thing where he would reply to me and reply to me and reply to me, and I had something on auto reply, and it was a document file that I had that I actually named Doggy, where I had a whole bunch of pre-typed tricks, and all I had to do was copy and paste the shit. It only took me like a second. Copy and paste, new trick. Copy and paste this trick. Copy and paste that trick.
Have you actually looked into Geraniism as a person? And his
No.
Oh my god, I don't know where I got it from, but I have a list of links of Geraniism where he is accused of
Bitcoin scamming.
Yeah. And I mean, like, it kind of fits with him.
Yeah. Do you think he's a scammer, out of curiosity, Outboard?
I think he's a pedophile. I've told you this already. Flat
Wait,
Earth is
what?
a pedophile.
No, you got to stop doing that. You got to stop just blowing pedophile out for no reason.
That's kind of a pillbox move.
Yeah, it's douchey. And to be honest, the thing that annoys me.
Yeah, I think he is a scammer. Yes, I think he's a scammer. I 100% think he's a scammer.
Doesn't mean
and the evidence for him being a scammer is that suddenly his batteries went flat on his first laser test. It didn't go flat. And he said, oh, and it was a 10-foot circle. Yeah, it was a 10-foot circle, but it had a flat bottom. The circle had a flat bottom. Now, he's not telling anyone that, and he's not showing the video of it because it showed it had... Now, I don't have 100% proof of that, but I'm pretty confident that's why he didn't. He is well aware that, and he refuses to get engaged on anything, even with Red. He refuses to get engaged on anything once it's been disputed, once he can't argue the facts. Oh, you've had 100 years to discuss this. I haven't got 100 years up my sleeve. Yeah, no, hang on a second. It's just bullshit, Juranism. And you know it's bullshit, and all he's doing it for... And I mean, like, I have actually stopped one of his frauds. He actually had a crowdfunding scheme up at one stage to prove that the Earth was flat. And I've got the emails where I actually I reported it on the site that he was trying to crowdfund it, that he was trying to collect money to prove the Earth was flat. I reported it as being a scam. This guy's trying to convince people that the Earth is flat, which we all know is absolute bullshit. He's doing nothing but scamming people. And they replied to me and said, "Oh, thank you very much for warning us about this," and they took down his crowdfund. So, yes, I have 100% proof he is a scammer.
Well, scammer is fair enough, but just don't stay away from pedophile accusations.
You may have your own reasons for it, but yeah.
All right, well, I'll this. As what I've been trying to get in contact with Juranism, or I should say not contact, I've been trying to get Juranism into a moderated debate where he pretty much has equal footing on everything. And he apparently has made this deal where if I can meet his challenge, which was to replicate the SpaceX Falcon 9 launch satellite deployment in Kerbal with the moon moving in the background, then he would give me a debate. Now, Halsoy went ahead and did that because while this was happening, I was at the racetrack in Orlando. I was far away from my computer, and I wasn't online for 3 days straight. So he already did this behind the scenes. So I went ahead and uploaded the video, got rid of a whole bunch of bullshit, you know, why don't I show my face, why don't I ever piss at NASA, then I made that one a joke, and also explaining a lot of things about the Falcon 9. And then I showed the video where Halsoy demonstrated how the satellite deployment makes sense in Kerbal Space Program by replicating it pretty much exactly. He did a great job.
He did a great job, but he didn't quite do it right because the SpaceX 9 was basically a rotation of the vehicle. I mean, like you look at where the moon starts and where it finishes, and if you actually just rotated the vehicle, it would move the moon to where Juranism has a problem with it. And he did it slightly differently, but it achieved a similar effect. But,
well, it was the rotation of the vehicle and not the moon. That was the point. And
yeah, that's the point.
And so we went ahead and uploaded that video and posted it and showed everyone that what I was saying was in fact the case. Now, he has not gotten back to me since that video was uploaded.
Hey, what?
He has never gotten back to me. So what I'm going to do is I'm thinking about it, although I haven't decided if I'm actually going to do it, and just taking his silence as an admission of defeat. And I would basically make a video and say this: all right, dude, you haven't gotten back to me. This is my conclusion as a result of this. And just tell him, listen, the moment you can step up to the plate and have a moderated, structured, one-on-one debate with me, I'll even let him pick the moderator. He really doesn't have a leg to stand on.
You should add adult in there.
Well, basically, here's my only thing, though. The hangout is not going to happen on his channel. It's also not going to happen on my channel, and it needs to be a moderator that we both agree to. For example, if he wants to select Mark Sargent as the moderator or Patricia Steer, they can get fucked. They're not going to be the fucking moderator. I would pick someone that actually doesn't have a hat in the race.
I don't have a hat in the race.
You should, you should find a geocentrist who thinks both of you guys are wrong.
Yeah,
I think you should.
I'm thinking. Honestly, I thought I knew who I would go for, And I asked them. They said okay. It was Coctopus Prime.
Oh shit!
Yeah, I was.
Kind of have a hat in the race, though. I mean,
No,
he does-
Coctopus Prime doesn't really get into the whole flat Earth or any conspiracy nonsense. He goes into politics and how Fox News is a piece of shit. That's one
Yeah,
thing.
but he is an evil atheist like you, so he may
Correct.
reject on that.
yeah.
Correct. But then again, Jeranism also said that Jesus can suck his dick.
There you go.
So he really has no room to bitch, is what I'm trying to say.
I do like Max's idea though. Get a geocentrist in there. Thinks both of you are wrong. I think that would make it.
I have a geocentrist, funny enough.
No, because then the geocentrist who's supposed to be moderating the fucking thing will be saying, "Oh, you guys are both wrong, and now I'm in the debate." Fuck them all.
Well,
no,
taking down to him that he can't get involved in the debate, and he'll not get involved in the debate. I'm pretty sure you can find someone.
That shit.
I can find you a flat Earth. I know one geocentrist. Actually, I even know young Earth creationists who probably would disagree with both of you. So
it's more of a kind of last resorty thing, but if need be, I'd be more than happy to be the stopwatch / moderator. Well, the thing is, you know what'll happen. You've seen me do this. I'm literally just a stopwatch. I don't interfere. I just run the timer.
My girlfriend's a young Earth creationist. She could probably do it.
Basically, I'll tell you what. Tell her to make a channel and have and admit no association with you or any of us, and I'll definitely do that.
All right.
And I'll be like,
interested.
So she can be like, okay, I don't know who the fuck any of you people are, so yeah, I'm just gonna be here, and if any of y'all like get too rowdy, I'm just gonna say, hey, quit it. You know, just something like that, and
in that tone of voice.
But yeah,
well, any tone of voice, I really don't give a fuck. See,
if worse comes to worse,
I
do offer my services being the stopwatch moderator.
Yes, I mean, I would say Microblog could be a moderator, but only people can be moderators, and you're not a person.
He's an android.
He's a blob of jelly.
Well, dude, if I'm offering to literally just be a stopwatch to, tell people when to fucking shut up.
No, but you need a channel though.
Yeah, that's where that's what I think the moderator is useful. You know, they don't actually have to do anything other than just say, okay, time's up or whatever.
Wait, will there be an interaction between you two, or is it just?
The way I had it planned is that we were going to do the normal rules. So basically, 20 opening each, 15 rebuttal, back and forth for 10, and then questions from people, I guess. I haven't really decided if we're going to do questions from people because I kind of don't really give a shit what they have to ask.
What is there going to be a type of interaction between you two, like cross-questioning?
Yeah, that kind of stuff. So what I'm thinking is 20-minute opening, 15-minute rebuttal, 10-minute back and forth, and then conclude on that. Basically, that way it doesn't go on for fucking ever, and I don't have to answer other people's boring-ass questions because I honestly don't give a shit.
Yeah.
You know, because I know that I'm not going to convince that guy, or he's just going to be a Poe and be completely stumbling over his words because he never actually had to defend something that he never actually believes in. So he's basically going to be stumbling. Now, I have pretty much my arguments ready to go. They're already typed up, saved, and printed, ready to go. And all he has to do is grow a pair.
I still think you need to add in my argument, my simple, basic flat Earth argument, which is that we know where everything is on the Earth and know the distances from everywhere to everywhere else. And when you plot those distances out, the only shape the Earth can be is a sphere. And because when you, right, I know that you're a very technical-minded person, and you go into all this fucking describing how the surface works and how the curve works, but at the end of the day, the only way that anyone can ever determine the shape of an object is by plotting the exterior of it, the outside surface of it. That's how you tell what a shape anything is. You look at a square, look at a box, and the only way that you know that's a box, a square box, is you actually have to look at it from more than one side because it's three-dimensional, which is what we do with Earth. We've got it fucking plotted on Google Earth, and yep, right. there's hundreds of sources, and they all basically go back to the charts. And I mean, I was for 10 years going back. I was a fisherman for 10 years, and I know that boats disappear over the horizon, but that doesn't matter. It doesn't matter whether boats disappear over the horizon, because that changes. And I know, like, I live in Melbourne now in Australia, and I used to work on fishing boats in Queensland up along the Great Barrier Reef.
Well,
and I can give you the rule of thumb. The rule of thumb is when you're working on boats off the Barrier Reef, the distance you can see is about 6 miles, or about a mile for every foot of elevation off the water. That's the rule of thumb. Because the water temperature there is 27 degrees, the air temperature and all that, it just works out with the refraction. The rule of thumb is it's a mile per foot, nautical mile that is too. In Victoria, it's 3 miles. Our Port Phillip Bay is a lot colder. It's 3 miles that you can see from 6 foot. So it's about half a mile per foot of height, and it just works because I know. I was a recreational boater since the age of 8 years old. I'm 48 now. I know that if I go out the bay, I know how far I can see the shore away from. I know how far the hills are away. I understand that mountains. I've seen mountaintops appear on radar for the bases of them.
Yeah,
and all of that's irrelevant.
Well, the way that I would do it, though, because I'm not gonna go on a. I'm not necessarily going to go on a tangent. I'm basically going to make it very constructive, and I'm also going to pull a Dillahunty, where I have a pre-written rebuttal, because I know what he's going to say in reply to everything I said previously. Because it's kind of a devious trick of mine, but I kind of want to go first, even though I know he's going to have the last word. I want to at least he's going to have the last word, but I want to draw first blood.
Well, wait a minute. I just thought of something completely stupid and random.
What's up?
If the flat Earth thing was right, with a telescope with proper magnetism, wouldn't somebody in Britain be able to actually just using the telescope see the Rockies?
Correct. You would have
everyone on Earth would be able to see the Himalayas because of the size of them, the angular size of them. Everyone would be able to see them from everywhere on Earth because they're bigger than the Moon, which we know is off the edge of the planet.
I can see the Welsh mountains, and they're over 100 miles away.
Yep. Now, what I would like to do, because with my beginning, I'm going to try and corral him into a few key points, and he knows that in order to win the debate, he's going to have to answer these points. Otherwise, I'm going to call him out for ignoring him. So it's kind of a double whammy. It's either he does or he doesn't. It doesn't matter. I'm going to nick him either way. And so after that, though, if he does what I know he's going to do, I got him, and I can go into my pre-written rebuttal, where after that he's going to be stumbling over himself, like really badly. And then when it comes to back and forth, I can capitalize on all the shit he missed. And after I capitalize on all the shit he missed during our back and forth, we end it with like a closing or something like that, and that's the end of it. I can let him have the last word and be like, what I demonstrated here, X, Y, and Z. Let him say whatever the fuck he wants. End it like that. Upload it.
Definitely have a PowerPoint presentation, much like.
Oh yeah, Hal Soy is gonna get his ass kicked that day. Trust me.
Yeah. Anyway, I'm gonna bugger off now. I'm gonna make some circuit boards, so I'll catch you later.
Yep.
See you here, Cliff.
Hey, remember that second job I was talking about? I kind of hate my life now.
Second job?
Yeah, I work 2 jobs.
Oh right.
Oh, yeah. What, McDonald's and Burger King?
You're close. You're very close.
Oh, Burger King sits on his ass all day.
Yeah.
Not to be pedantic, but I'm not sure you can actually do that. I don't know if you can work for McDonald's and Burger King at the same time.
Oh, you can. You just can't tell them.
Yeah, there you go.
Well, okay.
Yeah, just lie. So
yes, with lying, I can be the Prince of Prince of Wales too. But assuming that we're not bullshitting, it's just whether or not it's in their policy is the point of my fucking question. If you could work the two of them at the same time.
No, you're missing the relevance of this again. Because Geranianism could never get a job at either McDonald's or Burger King.
That's about it.
Yeah, so
Now, Wendy's maybe.
my like I said, I work for an insurance company. I'm the guy you call when you have a really bad accident because you were a dumbass. And I also work at an auto repair shop, local shop, not like name brand or anything like that, but we have our own little privately owned shop, and I work there. And it's a good place to work. I make decent cash. I like it. And put the two jobs together, it comes out to a pretty decent paycheck and me owning my own place and 2 cars.
Yeah, that's great, but can you get me cheap travel insurance for the next time I go to Thailand?
No.
Absolutely not. Go fuck yourself.
Thailand? No, fuck you.
Well, can you get me discounts at McDonald's or Burger King?
If I worked there, maybe.
All right.
If I worked there, maybe. But I'll tell you what. If your car ever breaks down, I'll tell you what. After laughing at you, I'll give you a discount. But just keep in mind, I will be laughing at you. Yeah, I'm gonna make you feel like shit because your car broke down in my city, and I will laugh at you.
Yeah,
Except you laughing at me wouldn't make me feel like shit. It's just like I'm an Australian. We can take a laughing at.
Yeah.
It's our culture.
Yeah, I might do something to your car.
Australians,
They might not like. I'll put like baby powder in the air vents or some shit like that. I don't know. I'll think of something.
Actually, Red, you couldn't laugh at Max, but you could laugh at Florida, because you live in Florida, and Florida has no vehicle inspection, if I remember correctly.
Correct. That's what I love about it.
It's good for the insurance companies.
Oh yeah, it's great. I love it because the thing is that my car can be smoling like a fucking train, and it's golden. Oh yeah, street legal that shit. It's good. It's good to go. You should see how many diesel trucks we have just coal rolling people. I got these oversized stacks coming out of the bed of the truck. It's like they just ruined the entire point of a truck to put this gigantic stack there, and they're just blanketing the whole street, blinding everyone. It's funny as shit. And also,
an interesting definition of funny.
And also, it's also no longer illegal to put train horns on your truck.
Oh, Jesus.
Yes. So right next to that,
that little old lady's a heart attack blowing off right behind him.
Well, they have a surplus of old ladies, so that's fine.
Well, that's true.
Ironically, however, it is still illegal to put a baseball bat willfully through the windshield of an asshole with a car like that. Go figure.
Yeah, I don't know. However, you can shoot them if you think that they're charging you.
Right.
Wait a minute. If you're white, you can try. If you're white, you can try shutting down the music by firing shots inside.
Yeah, and also they utilize the bed by getting rid of the actual function by bolting a gigantic air compressor so that they can have the air horns go longer.
But the interesting thing is that in Victoria, Australia, it's not illegal to have any type of horn in your car. So you can have melody horns, you can have air horns, you can have train horns, you can have any of them.
Oh, one of those ones that drops the sick tune like an ice cream truck?
Exactly. However, it is illegal to use it unless you're using it as a warning device. Which is what the police book them for. They blow off their melody horns, and the police book them for illegal use of a warning device.
But I was warning them I was an asshole. Come on.
I could totally have one of those kick-ass tunes like an ice cream truck. Da 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 da.
That is the entertainer, and ice cream trucks play green sleeves.
No.
All right, maybe that song is called Entertainer. I'm gonna make that. It's gonna happen. It's gonna happen.
I want a horn that does the Imperial March.
Oh, Redline, I have actually a question.
Huh.
How did you like the links I sent you yesterday?
Was it car porn?
It was brutally. It was awesome.
If you sent me links yesterday, I didn't get them.
I did send them to you.
I didn't get them.
Well, Red must be lying then. You lying prick. You'd fucking lie that you got them.
Red's known to be a liar.
Yeah.
I'll resend it. I don't give a shit.
Yeah, there you go. I know you don't give a shit because you're evil and nothing really bugs you.
Mm-hmm.
Also, let's see. Maybe I'll also put one of those noisemakers on your either drive axle or drive shaft, depending on what you drive. So every time you drive, it'll give you an annoying click.
Sugar in my gas tank
Makes me unhappy.
That's right.
Tequila truly believes.
I had that, Heathen. I had it. Believe it or not, I had that. Thanks.
Wait a minute.
The tailpipe.
Wait a minute. Tequila truly believes the Earth is flat and won't stop yelling about it on Twitter.
Yeah, there's also another link of this of the New York Times about some rapper who believes it.
Yeah, and Neil deGrasse Tyson made a response rap or got something.
Yeah, I posted that on Hangouts. Oh, crap. Critical Unity is bitching again in the comments. Yippee.
So, is you cringing?
Maybe you shouldn't have... No, I was going to say maybe you shouldn't let it go public that you kicked him, but we're not live.
Nah.
He must have used his psychic powers.
No,
He's
we're not
bitching.
live, but the recording's running.
The power of fluoride compels you.
The power of fluoride. Yeah, that guy's been bitching about fluoride for a while, and also chemtrails. Go figure. What an asshole.
Fucking stupid ones to latch onto.
Just keep an open mind, guys. Keep an open mind.
Oh, no.
I'm not considered serious, but...
Yeah. Also, apparently a lot more people have been getting pissed off at MK because that's also been popping up in my feed, and I was like, oh, yes, it's happening. The revolution.
Hey, guys, I'm going to take off. Have yourself
See you, Max.
See ya.
Take care, Max.
See ya. Don't break down, otherwise, you know what will happen.
Yep.
Okay, and...
He's Canadian. He's not going to get a fucking insurance quote from you.
So, let's see. I'm going to give controls to Gus and 13.
Fucking hate you.
Yeah, I know.
I hope your asshole inverts and wears you as a hat.
Okay.
Prick.
So, anyway, I'm now going to head out because, unlike Duranism, I don't make my money by spouting bullshit on the internet. So
I know. The Big Macs won't flip themselves. All right, I get it.
Exactly. No, the Big Macs won't buy themselves.
Yeah, they won't buy themselves.
And when I go there, I get my fucking straw.
My fucking straw.
Wait a minute. I make my money insulting people with puppets on the internet. Is that more noble?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Because it's with puppets.
Oh, okay.
Slings and arrows of outrageous puppets.
Yes.
Exactly. All right, so I'll see you later, Emra. See you later, Christian. See you later, Gus. See you later, Microblog. Even though you're not a guy. See you later, Outboard. See you later, Paranor. See you later, Shadow, and see you later, the grooviest thing.
Yeah, just get out of here.
Okay.
Goodbye, Red.
Bye, shithead.
Do the Irish goodbye, man. Do the Irish goodbye.
Groove, you call me a shithead. That's so sweet.
No, she didn't call you a shithead.
See ya.
That's a term of endearment. It is.
That's right.
Oh, it's the same as wanker in Australia, then, is it?
It depends. It depends on the context. Yes.
I can't say.
It's
I can't say the other term of endearment that we use in Australia because there's ladies in the chat.
What, a cunt?
Oh, that's the one.
Cunt. Like, it's a perfectly normal word.
Yep.
It is.
It's a lovely word.
It is. And it looks better physically than it does when it's written.
I'd rather be surrounded by cunt rather than asshole.
Well, the thing is that, you know, like if you are a cunt, your best friend's your closest neighbour is an asshole, and your best friend's a dick.
Yeah.
Dear Lord.
Such is life. These are the days of our lives. Hey, Drag.
I've actually uploaded a picture that's meant to be my avatar, but I can't see it, so I give up.
It takes a while for Google to catch up with updating in the Hangouts sometimes.
Google may be many
have to
things, most
carefully-
of them profane, but smart is not one of those things.
They have to carefully examine your avatar to make sure that it's copacetic, don't you know?
They have to pass it around the office and see if anyone masturbates to it, in other words.
That's why I got Mannycam, because I got tired of waiting for them to update my fucking avatar.
Right.
Pretty much.
Lordy, lordy.
I got all sorts of programs because of helpful friends on the internet, trust me.
Yeah, well, yeah, I've been I have had many forms of employment, and I've never stuck with one because they all give me the shits in the end. I'm currently. It's like fucking bosses. It's like I guess
My
I'm a
wife
lazy
calls it the
prick.
pay to bullshit ratio.
Yeah, but I guess I'm a kind of lazy prick, but I'm an honest prick. And it's like, I don't want to fucking do shit that's fucking pointless. So if a boss fucking tells me something's pointless, to do something's pointless, I say, well, that's pointless, and the bosses don't like it.
That's why I lost my job at the didgeridoo factory in Cadwell at a point.
Well, that's it. Why would you fucking hollow out a didgeridoo by yourself? It's like you could get there with a fucking drill and fucking drill it out. Oh, you could do what the fucking Aborigines do. Stick the fucking log into a termite's nest and wait.
Hey, what are you sticking in a termite's nest? Come on now.
You stick a log in a termite's nest. That's how you make a didgeridoo.
That's not what your neighbours are saying. Sticking strange portions of your boomerang into the termite's nest.
Yeah, it's not as a crab's nest. As a crab's nest, and I'm not sticking nothing in it.
Speaking of things you shouldn't do, I recently saw the new Macbeth movie. Macbeth being the only Shakespeare play I learned in high school that I could fucking tolerate. Partly because I got to watch the Roman Polanski movie, which was fucking boss. I don't care what anybody says, man. That was a boss flick. But yeah, the latest one with Michael Fassbender.
So you were a drama student?
No, I was not. But as part of English literature, I had to.
You were an English literature?
You had to take English every year in high school.
I was giving you credit when I said drama.
You had to take. Obviously, down there in Australia, learning how to speak anything remotely like English, write it, spell it, or parse out a fucking short story isn't important. While you're fucking herding dingoes up and down the street.
Okay,
However,
have you seen the writing of some people from Australia? Good grief, man.
What is it?
Stephen Hawking has a book out.
Every time I bump into an Australian on this fucking great debate, man, I start thinking Australia is becoming the new United States.
No. Go and look at the education
No,
records.
actually, that's kind of wrong. The US is becoming the new Australia. With the side helping America.
If you're switching positions, you might be doing them a favor.
We're still rating fucking 3 levels higher than America is the most literate and educated people in the world.
That's not saying much, is it?
Now listen,
And by the way, Outbound, I want to just say one thing. I am the thespian around here.
Yeah, and by the way, while you're shoveling both feet into your fucking gob, over here in high school, I don't know what it's like down there in the Stone Age in the Outback, but up here in high school, every year you have to take a subject called English, which mixed English literature with English grammar, with English composition, with English writing, and all that other shit, so that you could fucking escape high school being able to put 2 words together without putting in between them. And in that fucking venture, you sloshed fucking down under prick, you. In that venture, we studied fucking Shakespeare, starting in grade 10, and every fucking year we had to digest a book of fucking Shakespeare.
No.
In grade 10, it was Romeo and Juliet, which I fucking hated. In grade 11, it was Macbeth, which I loved. In grade 12, it was Hamlet, which I almost cut my own throat studying. And luckily, I escaped because I didn't have to take grade 13 fucking English. So,
fuck.
So,
fuck
however,
that bullshit.
I did like watching the Roman Polanski Macbeth.
No. We did English. English lit was optional.
When Michael, I can tell.
Because English lit
was a fucking movie. Listen, honest to God.
I mean, like English was pretty bad. We had
to
study Sons and Lovers for fuck's sake.
Koala bear rubbing fucker. Is that Michael Fassbender's fucking Macbeth is one to avoid. For one thing, they drop lines in the dialogue, some pretty important ones too, which I can't fucking believe. I don't like
that's because you took English lit and I didn't, so I don't give a shit and can believe it.
I get it. I understand. I know.
However, for my HSC, which you probably call matriculation or used to do in your country.
My mommy told me I go blind matriculating. I don't do that.
I took English because it was not an option.
I took English too, you fucking idiot. They just called it English lit, that's all.
No. English lit was an option. That was another class that you could have taken, but fuck that bullshit. Who wants to read books? Right?
You heard it here first, folks. Fuck that nonsense. Who wants to read books? I'll just leave it at that.
So I took Maths A and Maths B, which used to be called Pure and Applied Mathematics.
Yes.
Physics and Computer Science. Those were my five. Those were my 5 subjects for HSC.
And you didn't read any of the books.
That's right.
Well,
because who wants to read books?
All the subjects except for English were taken by one teacher. It was great. So
in your one-room wooden schoolhouse in Australia?
Well, he just said the teachers are the ones that take the subjects, not the students. So,
I'm starting to see the problem here.
The teacher actually like we had a double period of physics on a Friday afternoon, which meant yay, let's go and get pissed.
Which meant yay, let's go and get pissed. All right.
Yeah, because he was going off to university to learn computer science to teach it to us.
The textbooks were brought to you by Foster's Lager.
But
nobody shits that shit.
He would accept, because what he'd do for that double period of physics on a Friday, he'd set us a previous year's HSC exam. Here, do this exam while I'm not here. Okay, but and show all your workings. But he would accept SITD as workings. SITD, stab in the dark. So those of us that could fucking, that's going to be about that. Yeah, write it down on the paper. Workings, SITD. And he'd accept it. But, like I say, I'm 48 years old, so it's been a long time since I've been in fucking school.
It is a fucking wonder the Australians weren't first to the moon. A fucking wonder.
Well, like shit.
Well, if it was hot air propelled, then maybe.
No, here's an
way back to birds farting. That's how they would go flying.
No, here's an interesting fact about Australia.
Or alcohol.
Australia or alcohol, one or the other. We invented the secret ballot that your government uses.
That does not bode well in your favor.
Secret ballot. Before the secret ballot, it was an open ballot that everyone got to see. You had to fucking tell everyone who you were voting for, and could be pressured into voting for someone else. We invented the secret ballot.
Well, with Trump running, they found that people are embarrassed to actually admit that they'd consider voting for Trump, so that might be a good thing.
See?
No, I don't mean the secret part. I mean making them admit that they're voting for somebody that's,
no one's really voting for Trump, for Christ's sake. Even in Australia, we know it's a joke.
No, it's actually not. That's the sad part.
Point of contention. Point of contention. It's not a joke. People are serious.
I wish it was. I wish it was.
People I
Trump
serve
may
with
be
the
a troll.
military.
Benny. Benny, I want the mods, Benny.
Kick him. Kick him.
I want the mods, Benny. Oh shit! I've got the mods, Benny.
Yes, you do.
Mods have run down my leg, Benny.
You got mods running down your leg. Here,
I
look,
do,
I'll
Benny. It's because I'm enlightened.
Now, as a proper debunker, of course, I have links to prove what I've just said. I'm not just speaking out my ass, and I'll post them in the chat. There you go. There's the proof that we were actually the first. Australia was the first to come up with the secret ballot. So there you go.
It was invented by Kevin Bloody Wilson, wasn't it?
Yeah, no, it was invented before by bloody Kevin Bloody Wilson, and you still speaking in a bloody New Zealand accent, don't you? Now, I'm speaking in South African accent. South African accent. Listen here, what do you think? Do you think I'm a gaffer and don't know what's going on?
It's all the fucking same. Like there's a difference.
There's a difference. Right? Because Australians can count to 10. New Zealanders can't. Do you know why New Zealanders can't count to 10?
Because they're too busy having sex with all their hot chicks.
After 5, they're having... Because after 5, they're having sex.
That sounds like jealousy to me.
No. Because the first man doesn't count.
I wish I could have sex like a New Zealander. I'm stuck here in this didgeridoo factory. You're chatting without a boy.
No didgeridoo factories, boy. You stick along in a bloody termite nest.
Yeah, so they have a factory.
Now,
with
the
a
interesting thing.
The factory of termite nest.
The interesting thing about it is that, according to, like everything, Captain Cook discovered Australia in 1770. In fact, 200 years before that, the Dutch had actually bumped into Australia several times.
And a lot of years before that, some other people had. And were living there.
Interacted with the locals. The Dutch slave traders who were taking slaves from Africa to Indonesia had bumped into Australia and discovered that, hey, there's a country here, there's a whole landmass here with a whole lot of black people, which you can't say these days, of course, because, like, that's racist.
Oh, you can say black people, you just can't say that other word that starts a race riot.
What, coon? Oh,
that's one of
hang
them.
on a second.
I love it. What, coon? I'm telling you, man.
Typically, the blacks don't mind when you call them black.
Well, yeah, depends on which
unless you call them the blacks, right?
Exactly. If you call them the blacks, then that's like, that they
or if
get
you
a little
say
upset
to them,
about that.
Or if you say to them things like, "What? Don't you feel that you're black enough?"
Yes.
It's actually a legitimate question.
Race baiting in North America will cause a fight, just like it will in Australia. Well done. Some things are the same.
Actually, most of the Aborigines are pretty bloody cool about it, but that's another story. But the Dutch, who were trading slaves, they were taking slaves from Africa to what we now call Indonesia, and in those days they was called Java because
coffee.
They were Dutch, right? They bumped into Australia several times. They discovered Australia's west coast. They bumped into the northern tip of Australia, the pointy bit, which we call Cape York, but you guys probably know as the northern pointy bit. They bumped into that lots of times, and they found lots of Aborigines. They had conversations with them, like as much as you can have a conversation with someone you don't speak the same language as, like interacted with them.
Yeah. Would you like to see our didgeridoo factory?
and still, they said, yeah, that's really great. Like from here to Java is like a couple 100 miles across the sea. Let's go to Africa and get some slaves. Let's go and get some black people to work and get some slaves.
Did you just say let's go and get some black people that work?
Yes.
Fuck.
I heard.
I am a race. No, but but it
Well,
He admitted it. He admitted it.
what do you expect from a country that's had a color bar right up to the 1960s on immigration?
we not only had a colour bar on immigration, but the black people were not anyone of black colour, like particularly Aborigines. I'm not sure whether it was.
We knew they were black.
Well, I'm actually not sure whether it included African black people, or Negroes, or whatever you want to call them. But in Australia until
monkeys, we call them monkeys.
It's no, because they're in monkeys. Everyone knows in Australia. Everyone knows that when you say monkey, you're referring to Indonesians. Not that I'm racist.
The Australian man's proper guide to racism.
Yeah, that's right. We know
refer
racist.
to blacks as monkeys. They're cute. Monkeys are Indonesians.
That's right. See, there you're getting the picture. No, but the Aborigines didn't actually have a vote in Australia because they weren't considered people until the 60s. However, as far as feminism goes, we were forerunners in as early as I think it was 1910.
Yeah, that's because all your fucking women were bigger and stronger than your men were for half the fucking.
No, it was because we don't give a shit. You can vote.
My Sheila's broke her nose 9 times in a fight. 6 of them are with me.
No. See, you misunderstanding. Because 1910 we passed the vote and let the women vote. It wasn't until the 1950s that we abolished the rule of thumb. You do know what the rule of thumb is,
Yes, that's why I'm laughing.
Quite progressive of you.
That's right. That's right. That's some Martin Luther King shit right there, boy.
So the bitch can vote, but she's going to vote the way I say.
Oh, man.
It's like...
But it's like listening to my dad in his 30s. It's really.
Yeah, I know, but the difference is.
I'm just waiting for the phrase. You know what Hitler got right? I'm just waiting for that, and it'll come along.
You are not going to get that from me because after all, I am Australian.
No, but you will get it from L. Ron Hubbard, though.
L. Ron Hubbard, yeah, well.
Yeah, he actually has a quote of what Hitler was doing right.
That's right.
Actually, kind of funny.
He was a very snappy dresser with a great singing voice.
But think about it. Because if Hitler was in control of the world today, those flat fucking earthers wouldn't be alive, would they?
Nor would them blacks.
It'd be
or
right.
Catholics.
We're going to send the Jews, the blacks, and the flat earthers to the gas chamber.
Oh, you forgot about the faggots.
Yeah, well,
are you kidding? The fucking what would the Luftwaffe be without those?
But you got to admire Queen Victoria, who didn't outlaw lesbians. She only outlawed poofters because she didn't believe. Well,
no, I agree with you. Actually, I remember that she didn't believe women could be lesbians.
That's right.
Yeah, it's hilarious.
I watched a documentary on her. Apparently, she had some of the most unhappy children fucking ever. Because that woman was like unbelievably difficult to describe how shitty a mom she was.
Her own personal Hitler.
But what do you get born into royalty? You expect to have an easy life? Fuck off.
No. Listen, there's a difference between fucking 5 applications of a stick to the nuts and fucking 7,000 applications of a stick to the nuts. I'll take 5, please, or maybe 20 if I had to choose. Not you know.
See, I mean, like, this is the question though. Why are the conspiracy theorists so hot on, like the World Trade Center, fucking 9/11 bullshit, and not looking at the only way that Charles could marry Camilla was if he got rid of Diana?
Oh man, I don't like where that's going.
Yeah, like
They're gonna do, they're gonna believe stuff closer to, where they reside. So, for Americans, they don't too much give a shit about that.
Oh, but they should,
A lot of
because
Canadians were up on it.
I actually worked for a bloke who insisted that everything we do in Australia is controlled by the Queen. She tells the Prime Minister what's going to happen.
Excuse me, Mr. Prime Minister. The other one. When you're finished rubbing off your dingo, I want you to do the following. Here's a list. Here you go. Prince Philip will be along to have a beer later, but in the meantime, do these things here. Mama.
And
meanwhile, Prince Philip gets lost in Borneo somewhere looking for Australia for a pint. Has anyone seen the didgeridoo factory?
it's like the idea of a pint only came to Australia about 5 years ago. We've been drinking pots and schooners, which are, I don't know what they are as far as a pint goes, because a pint's a stupid measurement, because no one uses it anymore, because it's antiquated.
Metric, perhaps? Metric, anybody?
Metric. 285 mils is what a schooner is. No, pot. A pot is 285 mils.
That's barely a proper drink. Fuck, I got a soda can here. It's, what is that, 350 milliliters?
Yeah, but what you don't understand is the heat in Australia. You don't want a big beer.
What's the heat?
The heat.
Oh, the heat.
The heat.
Right.
Heat. Right.
I thought I had to worry about something else fucking natural in your country that wanted to kill me.
It's 28. The fucking heat wants to kill you. It was 28 degrees. It was 28 degrees today, Celsius, and it was a mild day.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Reds was complaining that it was 24 degrees and he had hot chocolate and a fire going. I'm like, oh, you poor kid. Come on up to Canada where it's fucking...
He's talking fucking Fahrenheit.
Today it's not too bad. No, it was
24
degrees. It was 24 degrees. We converted it to Celsius. It was 24 degrees Celsius, and he wanted it. Yeah. So
see,
come on
now here's
here,
the interesting thing.
Minus 35, minus 42 with the wind chill.
But here's the interesting thing. Americans
wind chill
think
is bullshit.
Yeah. Stand out in it and tell me that. Fuck.
No,
America.
The only wind chill literally means it's literally a measure of how quickly you'll get frostbites. That's all that's all it tells you. It tells you whether if you're standing out with no protection with a constant wind, how quickly you'll get frostbites. That's all it tells you. You can't really use it for anything else.
I'll tell I don't fight Environment Canada's battles for it, so I'll leave that for another time.
But here's the thing: Americans think they haven't gone metric.
Who hasn't gone metric?
Americans think they haven't. They still talk about pounds. They don't talk about kilograms.
No,
Do you know what the legal definition of a pound is? It's the legal definition of
That's
a pound.
That's what you give your dingo at night, huh?
Hey, a pound is what you get when you use your left hand because your right hand's tired and you're not so fucking accurate with your left hand. But the legal definition of a pound is 0.45359237 kilograms. That's the legal definition. That is the legal. So a pound doesn't actually exist. It's just a word we use for 0.453599237 kilograms.
Yeah, and the kilo is just a word we use to describe the length of two spots, isn't it, from the center of the Earth out, or have they changed, or did they change that yet?
No.
And moon is just a term we use for a satellite that orbits the Earth.
Or a sudden and intermittent removal of pants to show
that too.
disrespect to your neighbor.
No, legal. The definition of a kilogram is an SI unit of mass equivalent to the international standard kept at Cephres Neparis, approximately.
So it's a word for how much that thing weighs.
There's actually. It's actually a measurement of the number of atoms of a particular material in a fucking particular mass object.
That we have given a name to. We could also remove that atom and call it something else.
But here's the interesting thing. In Australia, what we have done is that we have made a perfect kilogram sphere of silicon.
I'm wondering why anyone should give a shit, honestly.
Well, because we're offering that up as the new official measurement of kilogram compared to the old one.
I wouldn't even mess with. You said it's a sphere.
It's a sphere.
Why would you want that? Wait, why would you want to use a sphere as a unit of measurement, especially if you had to do a conversion?
Because it is laser measured to be a perfect sphere down to the atom of how many atoms are actually in that sphere.
The point is, if you're doing the scale thing, spheres are going to be kind of a bitch.
They are going to be a kind of a bitch, but here's the thing, that you only need something right, and the official kilogram measures, which were, hey, let's take a fucking bit of something and call it a fucking kilogram and pass it around to all the world, so you've got an official measurement in each country. Each one of them deteriorated at a different rate, and they all weigh differently.
Okay. The issue on that. Go ahead.
Well, the issue becomes that all around the world, a kilogram becomes weighed as different things, and it becomes a problem. Whereas if you have silicon, which doesn't deteriorate particularly, and is a perfect sphere, you can go, well, there's a kilogram, and that's what we compare everything else to. We can say, okay, that's what a kilogram is. We know what a kilogram is. Thus, we know what a pound is, because Americans. And